Violent protests in Minnesota broke out after a deadly officer-involved shooting.
An Army lieutenant in Virginia fears for his life before being pepper sprayed by police.
Plus, one concert venue in Denton prepares for its post-COVID reopening.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon. I'm Lexi Flores.
And I'm Jalen Jackson.
A crowd of almost 500 people gathered in Brooklyn Center, Minneapolis last night after the shooting of 20-year-old Daunte Wright during a traffic stop Sunday afternoon. Police say they responded to multiple break-ins in the area as protests broke out in response to the shooting. As protesters gathered at the scene of the incident, police reportedly used tear gas, flashbangs, and rubber bullets to disperse the crowd. National Guard troops were sent in to stop apparent looting at stores surrounding the area where Daunte Wright was killed. As protests erupt in Minneapolis, people around the country watch as week 3 of the trial of Derek Chauvin begins. Prosecutors are expecting to rest their case sometime this week. CNN's Nadia Romero has more on the state of the trial.
Prior to your testimony today.
In much anticipated witness testimony, the Hennepin County Chief Medical Examiner explained the autopsy he performed on George Floyd and why he ruled his death a homicide.
The law enforcement subdual restraint and the neck compression was just more than Mr. Floyd could take.
But defense attorney Eric Nelson noted during testimony that Floyd's death certificate showed fentanyl and meth in his system and other health conditions like heart disease.
In this particular case is Mr. Floyd's heart, right?
Yes.
And even without any sort of an exertion, that's a potential cause of death that needs to be considered.
Yes.
But forensic pathologist Dr. Lindsay Thomas said Floyd would be alive if it weren't for the actions of police.
There's no evidence to suggest he would have died that night, except for the interactions with law enforcement.
For the first time during this trial on Friday, a woman was sitting in the chair reserved for a Chauvin family member. But the support for George Floyd has been loud and consistent outside the courtroom. On Friday, during the trial in Minneapolis, family and friends gathered for a community prayer vigil in Houston.
To us, this is a case, this is a cause, it's a hashtag. To Rodney and his family, this is their blood.
In Minneapolis, I'm Nadia Romero.
Myanmar's pro-democracy protesters are refusing to give in as crowds of people marched in several cities Sunday. One monitoring group says that security forces killed at least 82 in the town of Bago in southern Myanmar. The military is reportedly charging families to collect the bodies of their loved ones. The state-run media reports the leader of the junta made new remarks attempting to justify the coup. Multiple police officers in Georgia were injured in a car chase early this morning. According to the authorities, the chase began in Bremen County and later moved into Carroll County as additional law enforcement teams joined the pursuit. Authorities with Carroll County report that one suspect is dead and another is in custody.
You know, it's been looking pretty bright outside, and I wonder how long that's going to stay.
I don't know. I checked the weather report, and some rain is supposed to hit us today. Let's see what our weather expert, Danielle Zachariah, has to say. Danielle?
Thanks, Jalen. And you're right, we are expecting some rain later today, but I'll get more onto that later on the show. Right now, we are currently experiencing mostly cloudy skies with a temperature of 69 degrees with a feels like 70, and a wind speed coming in from the south at 8 miles per hour. Later tonight, those clouds will stay, but with a 50% chance of rain, with a temperature of 56 degrees with a feels like 58, and a wind speed coming in from the north at 15 miles per hour. And tomorrow, there will be more cloudy skies with a 20% chance of rain, with a temperature of 70 degrees with a feels like 71, and a wind speed coming in from the northeast at 15 miles per hour. That's all I have for first look. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Danielle. The White House is moving at light speed to get every single adult vaccinated before the end of spring. But now they face a new challenge, an overdemand of vaccines from states. CNN's Britt Conway has more on how the White House plans to meet those demands.
In Michigan, state leaders and health experts are all making the same plea as they watch more and more people test positive for COVID-19.
Think about surging vaccines into the state of Michigan.
I think getting vaccine shots in arms is our ultimate defense.
Make the case for surging vaccines.
We are asking for more help, for more vaccines.
Some national health experts are rallying behind them.
We've got to be able to do this when there are surges.
We need to get in the habit of trying to surge resources into those hotspots.
And Michigan is a hotspot. COVID-19 positivity rates haven't been this high here since the start of the pandemic, and hospitalizations are nearing peak levels. Governor Gretchen Whitmer is urging high schools to go remote, youth sports to pause, and people to skip indoor dining for at least the next 2 weeks. And a White House official tells CNN President Joe Biden told Whitmer the administration will send an additional 160 government personnel to help out with vaccinations, but no promise of more vaccines.
We have to make sure we're doing this in an equitable way, in a fair way, and the way that we have been doing this is by adult population. We have to continue to push forward, making sure that we're getting as many people as possible vaccinated.
But Whitmer says she'll continue pushing too.
And I'm going to continue to fight for the people of Michigan.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Thousands of people in San Francisco were turned away at the COVID vaccination site over the weekend. San Francisco opened COVID vaccine eligibility early this weekend to both reservation and walk-in appointments. However, officials didn't realize how large the demand for the vaccine would be. The clinic planned on administering around 2,000 vaccines, but when over 6,000 people showed up, they were forced to turn people away. The early vaccine eligibility is set to open on April 15th to 8 priority zip codes in underserved communities.
After the break, we have the story of one Virginia-based Army lieutenant and his run-in with the police.
And reporter Jessica Jalal is live at City Hall to discuss some recent comments from the Denton mayor. Stick around.
Listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
One U.S. Army second lieutenant has now filed a lawsuit against 2 officers after he was held at gunpoint and pepper sprayed during a traffic stop. CNN's Aaron Miller has more on this story.
You're looking at the body camera footage of Windsor police officer Daniel Crocker after he pulled over an SUV back in December. Inside the vehicle, Army Second Lieutenant Cara Nazario, who turned on his cell phone to record the interaction.
Let me see your hands. How many occupants are in the vehicle?
What's going on?
After a second officer arrives on scene, cameras capture an intense exchange.
Get out of the car now! Get out of the car! Now!
Nazario's attorney, Jonathan Arthur, particularly troubled with what happens next.
What's going on?
What's going on is you're fixing to ride the lightning, son.
Nazario responds,
I'm sorry, what?
It's really shocking to see law enforcement behaving this way to people who have sworn to uphold and defend the United States Constitution.
In an incident report written by Officer Joe Gutierrez, he said Nazario refused to comply with multiple commands.
I'm actively serving this country, and this is how you're going to treat me?
Back up, Daniel.
I didn't do anything.
Back up.
Whoa, hold on.
Daniel.
What's going? Hold on.
Nazario is now coming forward, filing a lawsuit against officers Joe Gutierrez and Daniel Crocker, saying his First and Fourth Amendment rights were violated.
Why am I being treated like this? Why?
You're not cooperating. Get on the ground.
The officer's conduct was not only reprehensible, but illegal.
All you had to do was listen.
Nazario is now seeking $1 million in damages. He was ultimately let go, but officers claim they conducted the traffic stop in part because he didn't have a visible rear license plate and didn't stop for police.
I've pulled over to well-lit areas before, and I've never looked out the window and saw guns blazing immediately.
So the reason we did that is because we followed you for 1.5 miles with lights and sirens on, and you didn't pull over.
According to the lawsuit, officers also threatened Nazario with felony charges that could impact his military career.
We can either sit here with you until you get your eyes back where you can see, and I mean at a good distance, you're safe to drive, okay? Or we can push the issue, write you tickets for no license plate displayed, and for obstruction of justice. I don't think we need to go that route because that route makes the Army get involved.
Virginians will not tolerate this unconstitutional behavior.
I'm honestly afraid to get out. Can I?
Yeah, you should be.
To see the body camera videos in their entirety, head to WTKR.com. I'm Erin Miller, News 3.
One of the two police officers accused of pepper spraying and pointing their guns at the lieutenant has been fired.
Last week, City Council held a meeting with Mayor Gerard Hudspeth, was in many local headlines.
Yes, and our reporter Jessica Jalal is live at City Hall to further discuss some of the differing opinions regarding his statement. Jessica?
Thanks, Lexi and Jalen. We are live at Denton City Hall, where Mayor Gerard Hudspeth had proposed criminalizing council members that publicly reveal what is discussed in closed council meetings. Experts and federal law state that this would be a violation of First Amendment rights. Attorney Joseph Larson, who represents the Freedom of Information Foundation of Texas, stated that these people are not employees. The government can direct an employee on what to say and what not to say, but you cannot do that with an elected official. The Fifth Circuit has looked at that and rejected that theory altogether. You can't do it. Furthermore, Mayor Hudspeth made this proposal after council member Deb Arminter had requested that officials record the audio of every closed session. Only one council member, Paul Meltzer, showed support. This same issue occurred in 2015 when Chris Watts was mayor and Attorney Larson had sent Watts a letter. He cautioned him that adapting a new ordinance which makes it a crime for elected officials to talk to the public and the press about issues raised in closed meetings is unconstitutional. Larson was surprised this issue happened again so quickly and questioned whether City Council understood the democratic process. Hudspeth said he stands by what he said during Tuesday's council meeting of making it punitive to share what's happening in closed sessions. There are definitely two sides on whether sessions should be recorded or not recorded, but the next Denton Council meeting is this Tuesday at 3 p.m. I'll keep you guys updated, but for now, back to y'all in the studio.
Thanks, Jessica. Texas Health and Human Services is reporting that about 30% of Texans have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. While that is an encouraging number, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Joseph Chang says that the 0 to 17-year-old bracket is making up almost 17% of all COVID cases. At the start of the pandemic, kids made up 2% of those who tested positive. And Dr. Chang believes that extracurricular activities are playing a role in the rise. As child COVID cases rise, 2 locations in Dallas County are now offering COVID vaccines without an appointment. Both Garland Health Department and Elise Davis Field Houses are locations where people can show up with no appointment needed. The Garland Health Department will be hosting a one-time clinic on Tuesday from 1 to 3 p.m. at Johnson Stadium, while Elise Davis Fieldhouse began to offer vaccines without appointments last week. And those without an appointment can get a shot between 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
It looks like the consistent sunshine is over. We might be getting rain all throughout the week.
Well, I really hope not, because I do not want to carry an umbrella around with me. But let's see what our weather expert Danielle Zachariah has to say. Danielle?
Thanks, Lexley. Well, you might have to cover up later this week as we are expecting some rain, but I'll get more onto that in a bit. Right now, let's take a look across North Texas, where temperatures are currently ranging in the 60s and 70s, with the lowest right now in Graham at 62 degrees and Paris currently sitting at 70 degrees. Now let's take a look across the state, where they are experiencing a wider range of temperatures. As you can see, in the north, Amarillo is currently sitting at 44 degrees and Oklahoma City at 57. And in the south, Austin is currently experiencing a temperature of 71 degrees and Houston at 76 degrees. And now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast, where as you can see, from Tuesday through Saturday, you can expect mostly cloudy skies with a medium to high chance of rain. And Sunday and Monday will be sunny skies with temperatures ranging in the 60s and 70s, as well as the 40s and 50s. Now, I don't know about y'all, but this whole 7-day forecast looks like a Rihanna song, so make sure you have your umbrella, Ella's ready. That's all I have for full weather. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Danielle. Music lovers in Denton can rejoice as one local venue is ready to bring back that live music experience. ntTV reporter David Moreno has more.
In the year of the pandemic, over 43% of businesses temporarily closed as safety concerns swept the nation. As the world begins to recover from the pandemic, one local business is finally able to catch their breath as they begin to put the worst of this past year behind them. And they're gladly taking the time to reflect.
Oh, we lost all of our business. We were the first bar in the area to close because of COVID, so yeah, we think we made the right decision.
Chad Withers is the general manager of Rubber Gloves Rehearsal Studio in Denton. For him, this past year has been a difficult one. Rubber Gloves had only reopened a couple months before the pandemic, after being closed for 2 years. He said the business was starting to get its foot in the door when the world shut down. In March of 2020, Rubber Gloves had to cancel one of their biggest events of the year.
We actually had a really big festival that was scheduled for March 14th, where we had bands from out of town coming in all over the state. It was kind of like going to be a stop for people going to South by Southwest.
Without being able to put together any kind of live music event, the studio had to shift completely to social media to try to keep their presence alive.
We've been doing a lot of the live streaming stuff, utilizing video.
Still, Rubber Gloves is remaining hopeful as the business has started up their in-person events for the first time in over a year. The business is now looking positive into the future.
When we return, our Den on a Dime reporter Chanel Young will tell us more about a historic park in Dallas.
And the Mean Green Spirit teams competed over the weekend, and I'll tell you all about the success they had after the break.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
It's that time of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
Jalen, have you ever had the chance to see Dallas's historic Clyde Warren Park?
Yes, I have. I love the food trucks around the area, and I know Chanel Young has a great story in today's Dent on a Dime, right, Chanel?
This may be Denton on a dime, but that does not mean we won't visit other areas. If you're looking for something to do in this wonderful weather, Clyde Warren Park might be your next stop. The park offers a number of activities for everyone to enjoy with a sense of calmness in the busy concrete jungle of downtown Dallas. The 5-acre park offers children's play areas as well as a dog park and free fitness classes and concerts. So next time you're in Dallas, be sure to stop by and enjoy the wonderful spring weather. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Chanel. Now, over the weekend, the University of North Texas dancers and cheerleaders made history for their programs when they won the first schools cheer championship since 2002. These teams have worked hard all semester, and while their competition season has finally come to an end, the celebrations are just beginning.
The North Texas cheer and dance teams competed in a virtual nationals competition this year. Things look different competing for these teams since COVID, but these teams still made history for their programs. I got to speak with the captains of the dance teams to see how this season looked.
I'm the Jazz Nationals captain. We compete in the Jazz category, Division 1A at NDA Nationals.
The dance team competes side by side in a routine with the cheerleaders, but this routine brought home second place.
The most rewarding part was being able to get through it as a team despite all of the obstacles and challenges we faced with COVID and competition and all that. So just getting through it and coming out placing the highest we've ever placed in prelims.
And game day is basically a collab with cheer, dance, scrappy, and the drumline. And it's just an overall representation of a college game day in your city. So it's a lot of fun, very energetic, and we like to involve the crowd. So it's a crowd favorite.
North Texas cheer team brought home first place this year since 2002.
Wow, love to see UNT doing so great in sports. Plus, I hear it's been a great week in the sports world.
You know, I heard the same thing, and I also heard that many records were broken too. Let's see what our sports anchor Joshua Price has for us. Josh?
Thanks, Lexi and Jalen. It was a record-breaking Sunday for both the PGA and UNT softball. I'll let you know who the new record holders are after the break.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
Listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
It was rough being a Dallas sports fan last night as both the Stars and the Mavericks fell to their opponents. Both teams were able to keep the games close but were unable to take home the win. The Dallas Stars were able to take the Nashville Predators to overtime off a late second period goal by Jamie Alexiak. However, they were unable to score in the shootout and fell to the Predators 3-2. The Mavericks were at home as they hosted the San Antonio Spurs. The Mavs kept the score close throughout the whole game, but a jump shot with 1 second left would seal the game for the Spurs. Both teams look to rebound this week as the Mavs host Philadelphia 76ers tonight at 6:30. And the Stars, they travel back home tomorrow to face off against the Florida Panthers. Sports fans were still in excitement as a historic Masters tournament came to an end on Sunday. Hideki Matsuyama became the first ever Japanese player to win the Masters tournament. Shooting 10 under par, Matsuyama took home a little over $2 million and the famous green jacket. However, a Plano native was able to put some pressure on Matsuyama as Will Zalatoris finished second in the tournament. And astonishingly, this was Zalatoris' first ever Masters tournament and was only one stroke behind Matsuyama. Zalatoris took home $1.2 million and inspiration to win the next tournament. UNT also made some history as the softball team recorded their first ever perfect game. Pitcher Hope Troutwin was dominant in the circle as 21 batters stepped up and 21 batters were put away as Troutwin struck out every single batter she faced. Troutwin not only made history for the Mean Green, but also NCAA history. It is believed to be the first ever perfect 7-game inning in the NCAA Division I history, with all outs being a strikeout. However, this wasn't Troutwin's first time striking out 21 batters, as she struck out 21 players in her first start earlier this season. However, she gave up 5 hits and 2 runs in the win. This marks another achievement for UNT softball as they continue to soar to new heights. Lexi, Jalen, back to you guys at the desk.
The burrito powerhouse known as Chipotle is now offering degree programs to its employees. Chipotle is partnering with Guild Education to create free degree programs for its employees at 10 universities across the U.S. The Mexican Bar and Grill is offering employees who work more than 120 days the opportunity to pursue a degree in several areas, including agriculture, culinary arts, and hospitality. The program includes more than 100 degree options and is entirely debt-free.
That is just an awesome opportunity for both employees getting their degree and grabbing a burrito for lunch.
You know, honestly, I would definitely take that as a career now.
Thanks for watching us on ntTV News at noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 here on North Texas Television.